Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our playthrough of Eldritch Horror, Rise of the Elder Things, where we're now on turn 16. And what a fun-packed turn it should prove to be, as we have a chance of winning the game. But before we get into that, we've got a cock-up from last turn. Yes, when we finalised the last mystery and promoted the new one, I said we promoted an Elder Thing and we just had to kill it, and I was going on about how it wasn't even epic and all that sort of rubbish, even though I'd actually read out on the card that it was epic. Yes, I should have pulled out the crazed Elder Thing, which is an epic monster. The reason I pulled out the normal Elder Thing is, if you remember at the beginning of the game, it told us to take out 4 special monsters like the giant penguin and the proto-shoggoth. Well, one of those was an Elder Thing, so I automatically assumed it was going to be one of the monsters that had pulled out, but it wasn't. Of course, it was an epic. Let's have a look at the epic monster. It's exactly the same as the normal Elder Thing. I think they've made its eyes bulge a bit more and look a little bit more crazy, if you can see there on the stalks. And of course it's coloured red and has a corner cut off to designate it as an epic monster. It's exactly the same as the other Elder Thing, except its toughness changes. And its toughness is going to be equal to the number of investigators plus 2. So it's actually going to have 6 toughness. Now, all the other things, the horror check and the strength check are exactly the same. So that is what we're actually going to be fighting, not a normal Elder Thing. Having got that cock-up out of the way, let's find out where everybody is. Now, Wendy is going to remain our first player. So she's currently at Miskatonic Outpost with the crazed Elder Thing. After her, it will be Akachi on Yele, who's got an extremely big turn, as you will see. And she is at the City of the Elder Things. After her, it will be Rex Murphy, who we are pinning our hopes on. So let's do it, Rex. And finally, we have Monterey Jack, who is down here in Buenos Aires. Other than that, we've got a busy board. Yes, we have got 6 open gates, 4 of which are red sunburst gates. The gates are Shanghai, Tunguska, the Himalayas, the Heart of Africa, London, and the Amazon. We have got tons of monsters all over the shop. We've got 20, including the crazed Elder Thing, we've got 21 monsters on the board. So it's good Eldritch Horror doesn't have a terror track. Otherwise, we'd be in deep doo-doo. But the way things have panned out, we've pretty much been able to ignore these gates. That is not usual. Normally, we'd be in a lot of trouble because, as you saw last turn, we lost 4 Doom points off the Doom track. So really, we should keep gates under better control. But in this game, we've managed to be able to rattle through a couple of the mysteries, and we've got a chance to win it before it gets too bad. And hopefully we will, but we shall see. Other than that, I've just mentioned the Doom track. It's on 6. We've got our Omen track that's currently on the red sunburst. We have the mystery, which is obviously the crazed Elder Thing. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So let's find out what's happened previously on Rise of the Elder Things. It turned out that Wendy was quite a natural with the shotgun. She had been practicing with Max while they took a break from the journey. "You know, I reckon you would give Miss Barnes a run for her money with that shotgun," Max said, a big grin spreading over his face. Later, as Wendy, Max and Grace approached Miskatonic Outpost, they could hear a loud commotion. They took cover to see if they could see the source of the noise. It turned out there was a huge Elder Thing smashing up the outpost. It was wild and seemed to be out of control. "We need to go back and tell the others," Wendy said in a hushed voice. They all agreed and began to make their way back to Lake Camp as quickly as they could. Akachi called out to Richard and asked him to stop. He had been busy readying the dogs and the sled for the trip to Leng. "What is it?" the guide asked. "Do you remember after Tad found that mural?" asked Akachi. "That I do," answered Richard. "The way he chirruped, I thought he'd done himself a mischief. It looked very similar to the ones that young Wendy had showed me last time we were here." Hearing his name, Tad stuck his head out of Akachi's hood, but sniffing the freezing cold air, he swiftly burrowed back inside. Akachi continued. "The pictogram. It showed those flying squid and some winged insect things fighting one another. Those green lines. What did you make of them?" Part of the design," answered Richard. "What if they were a representation of gunfire or something? Did you see how the insect things seem to have won in the next panel?" Richard clapped his hand to his head. "Of course! Wendy mentioned a dream to me where those monsters were fighting each other. I had one like it once. They were firing beams of light, I suppose you'd call them." "What if one of those weapons was still here?" said Akachi, gesturing around the ruined city. "I think that any mural recording them might be placed close to where they were stored. I think we need to have another look around." The seemingly limitless reach of the Elder Things had stunned Rex. The lake camp was riddled with their mind-controlled slaves. But there was one thing that encouraged him. Once the mind control was broken, the freed cultists became immune to the Elder Things' insidious influence. Those who had been freed proved valuable sources of information. From that information, Rex felt sure that this terrible affair was rapidly approaching a denouement. Whether for good or ill, he could not say, but later on that evening, the clouds had parted and he had watched a spectacular display of the aurora australis that had unfolded above the frozen ice shelf. It gave him hope. Standing up, he began to check and ready his gear. Jack arrived in Buenos Aires well rested and ready to investigate some rumours that he had heard on the ship. According to hearsay, there was a large group of strangely clad figures roaming around the Amazon rainforest, causing problems for anyone who might venture near their location. From the descriptions, it sounded like there were more people like Genevieve, relieved of their senses and controlled by the Elder Things. Relaxing in his hotel room, Jack decided to listen to the local radio station. Jack heard an announcer on the radio start to advertise the region's products and services. While he was listening, his hotel room door opened. A man stepped into the room, and before Jack could respond to the intrusion, the man said in the announcer's voice, "Have you seen the yellow sign?" With a start, Jack opened his eyes. Apparently the events he'd gone through had affected him more than he thought, manifesting as a strange dream. Murmuring his blessing spell, Jack grabbed his Tommy gun and prepared to head into the dark jungle. And here we are with Wendy in the action phase. Alright, what's she going to do? Well, the first thing she's going to do is she's going to get away from that crazed elder thing. So she's going to move to Lake Camp. So there we go, where she is with Rex. And because she's with Rex, she is now going to trade. What is she going to trade? Well, first of all, she's going to trade 3 clues. She will not need them anymore if things go to plan. And she's also going to trade some items. First of all, she's going to trade the lucky ring. Trinket, you may re-roll 1 die when resolving a test. She's also going to trade the lucky rabbit's foot. Trinket, once per round you may re-roll 1 die when resolving a test. And finally, the mysterious tome. Item tome, when you spend a focus to re-roll a die when resolving a law or a will test, you may re-roll up to 2 dice instead. Now, that's for the will test, because hopefully Rex will be taking on our friend the crazed elder thing. So, going to take all those. And that is the end of the trade action. And that is also the end of Wendy's actions. Next up, we have Akachi on Yele. And here we are with Akachi. And this is huge. This is absolutely huge what she's got to do now. What she is going to do now is she's going to do the local action, and she's going to test observation, because she wants to spend one of her clues to gain an artifact. So let's see what her observation is. It is 2, but she has the Agent of Secrets, so it's 3. And she's got 2 clues. So let's see if she can do it. So she will be rolling 3 dice. Come on, Akachi. You can do it, kid. A 6. A 6. Fantastic. She has done it. That is absolutely brilliant. So what she's going to do is she's going to spend a clue, which means she's still got 1 spare. She spends a clue and she is going to get an artifact. And because of the mystery, it means that there is only 1 artifact to get, and that is the alien device. The first artifact we pick up is the alien device, so we can just go through. Mygo brain case. I should have got it out really, shouldn't I? Ready. Loot of the Outer Gods. Alien device, here we go. So this is the alien device. Item, gain +3 lore when resolving spell effects. You may spend 1 sanity to re-roll any number of dice when resolving a lore test as part of a spell effect. So not actually any use when fighting the crazed elder thing, other than we have to have it in order to kill or put damage on at least the crazed elder thing. So she takes that. Absolutely fabulous. Let's put that deck back. For her second action, she is going to use a component action, and she is going to use the dog sled. That will get her to the frozen waste. Then she is going to use a normal action, because you get an additional action when you use the dog sled, and she's going to move to Lake Camp. So there she is in Lake Camp with Wendy and Rex. And that is the end of her action phase. Next up, Rex Murphy. And here we are with Rex. First thing Rex is going to do is he is going to trade with Akachi. She is going to give him her last remaining clue. So he now has, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clues. And they are going to trade a bit more. Obviously, he will need the alien device. We've just read through it, but it's required in order to put damage on the crazed elder thing. She's also going to give him the lightning gun, because it's gain +6 when resolving combat encounters. You and each monster on your space as an action could lose 1 health, but we're not going to use that. We're just using the +6. She's also giving him the .25 automatic. This is another weapon. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. Brilliant. And as well, she's also going to pass across Enoch Bowen. Now why? Well, I had a look. It's an allied character. When you gain this card from the deck, close 1 gate of your choice on any space. We did that. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a law or will test. Again, what we want here is we are just trying to pass the horror check, but may as well chuck him in as well at the same time. She's also going to give him Azure Flame. It's a glamour. So each 6 he rolls when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter counts as 2 successes. Let's try and make sure we pass this. So, and it's got the reckoning effect there. But we want to give ourselves maximum chance of killing this final epic monster. So she's handing all those across. So Rex still has 1 action, and he's going to trudge off to Miskatonic Outpost. He's got some monster killing to do. So him and the crazed elder thing are going to square off. That is it for Rex Murphy. Our final action are going to come from Monterey Jack, and he is over in Buenos Aires. And here we are with Monty at Buenos Aires. First thing Monty's going to do is he is going to rest. So that will get him back absolutely nothing, because he's fully healed and he's got full sanity. So why is he resting? Well, he's got these two things that he can do. So he's going to do fossilised samples, which is a unique asset, item relic. When you perform a rest action, you may examine the fossils. Test observation. So we'll do that first. So it's testing observation, which is 3. I don't think he's got any other bonuses. So 3 blessed dice. 1, 2, 3. And he gets a success. So let's take a look at fossilised samples, flip it over. You have discovered a collection of animal bones that were used as tools and tablets on which the knowledge of an ancient civilization was recorded. Deciphering the long dead language could teach you much about the world. Improve 2 skills of your choice, then discard this card. Well, I think what he'll do is, if you remember, let's just move this out of the way for a second. We do have the riot that he's going to take on. And the riot is an influence test, I believe. You know, in order to get away without fighting it. So we will take away his impairment token. So he'll have 2 blessed dice in order to defeat the riot. And his other skill that he's going to improve is going to be law. So he's going to put that up to +2, and that is because he'll be doing the law test against the cultists. So excellent. Should now discard this card. And finally, he also has the stone tablet, unique asset. Item relic. When you perform a rest action, you may attempt to decipher the carvings on the tablet, law -1. Now normally we've been taking health, but I think on the other side of this we've got another skill that we can improve. So we've got law, we've just increased law, that's gone up to 4. Is there anything else? The Ankh doesn't work because the Ankh is just for spell effects, I believe. Anything else? No, those 2 are just spell effect law increases, so it doesn't affect this. Oh, we've got room at the side there, haven't we? Let's put it in there instead. Right, so he gets 4 dice. Or does he? No, he gets 3 because it's -1. And he gets a 5, which is a pass. Excellent stuff. So let's just check that my memory isn't playing tricks. It's at the bottom here. Improve 1 skill of your choice, then discard this card. Again, what we're going to improve, just discard it. We are going to improve his influence, because we've got that mob test coming up. So we'll get that. We'll get his influence up to 3. Cool, a very successful rest action. Next up, he is going to move, and he's going to move up here to the Amazon, where we've got all sorts of stuff going on. So that is the end of his action phase. Just to point out, the cultists there is only sort of 1 on a stand, but if you look underneath, that's where the other 3 are. I had to save some space. So all the cultists are there. As it's the end of the action phase, that means it is now the encounter phase. And here we are in the encounter phase with Wendy. And what she's going to do is she is going to have a lake camp encounter. So the yellow deck. A cut. Lake camp. You try to determine what is wrong with one of the furnaces. Observation -1. Observation. She's brilliant at observation. Let's just check. She's still got an observation of 4. That's brilliant. So put that there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's -1, so 3 dice. She has a focus token. Ooh, she got anything that can help her with those 4s? I don't think so. I think she gave it away. Nope. She gave it away. But she is going to use her focus token. Come on, Wendy. Last dice. You always do it on the last dice. She does it again on the last dice. So she spent a focus token. There we go. And she managed to pass. Don't know. Somebody mentioned she always passes on her last die. And she's done it again. If you pass, you get to rest where it's warm, recover 1 health and 1 sanity, and discard a hypothermia condition. Well, she hasn't got one. There is the fail condition. And here's the full card. So, good. 1 health and 1 sanity back. I don't think she's fully healed, is she? No, I'm not adding up right. She was fully healed anyway, so at least nothing bad happened. We may as well stay here, because next up is Akachi. Akachi's going to do exactly the same. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a focus, but she does have the Antarctic Guide. I suppose I could have given the Antarctic Guide to Rex as well. Yes, he could have had 2 Antarctic Guides and 2 re-rolls off that, I suppose. But I forgot. Right, Lake Camp. Gedney is the only member of Professor Lake's party unaccounted for. If he's still alive, he'll need medical attention. You may move to the frozen waste to search for him. If you move, draw and resolve another outpost encounter. Outpost? Surely that should be frozen waste. But we're not going to do it. Gedney, unlucky son. We've got bigger fish to fry, mate. So we're going to leave you to it. Cruel, but that's just the way it goes when you are fighting the denizens of the outer darkness. That is it for Akachi's encounter phase. That means it's the big one. Yep, let's get to Miskatonic Outpost. There's going to be some fireworks. And here we are at Miskatonic Outpost. So let's get ourselves a bit of room. We'll just move Wendy and Akachi over a bit so we can get that in there. Can we see it? We can. Okay, so let's check our mystery. So is it instead of an encounter? No, it isn't. So we've got to fight it anyway, because you always fight monsters that are on your space. So he is going to fight it. But what I do believe, I think George mentioned it, is that the crazed elder thing, if it's defeated, I do not think that Rex has to have an encounter after it. He can decide not to do that, and that's what he's going to do. He's just going to try and kill the elder thing. Let's have a look. Let's refresh our memories. So here it is. We've got a normal will check for the horror. So, but we've got to get 3 successes. So let's check his will. His will is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he does have, whoop, the gruesome talisman. So we can add 1 to the result of one of these die. So we just need a normal success, really. And we've got the occult text, sorry. Gain +1 during combat encounters. This is a +1. Yeah. And if it had physical resistance, we'd be able to ignore that as well, but it hasn't. So what we're going to get there is an extra die. And we also have somewhere. Where's Enoch? Enoch's here somewhere. And this is roll an additional die, I believe. So that stacks. So there we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice to pass this horror check. We need 3 successes, remember? 3 sixes. Woo! Fabulous. We'll keep them. Keep those 6s. So he actually passed that with flying colours. Did Rex. We didn't need any rerolls or anything. Not that I'd have spent them, I'd have saved them for the actual combat test. So it's strength -1 for this combat test. His strength is 5. He gets +6 from the lightning gun. Gives him +6. So that's 11. And he also gets whoop, come on, focus. He also gets another, so that's 12. And there is something else he gets as well. Bear with me. Where is it? Yes, he has the... Lost it for a minute, but he has the .18 Derringer as well. You may add 1 to the result of 1 die when doing this test. So that was 12 dice, I think. And we're going to -1, so we're going to end up with 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We need 6 successes. Right, we have got a 6, 2 6s. Mind you, I suppose that was cocked, wasn't it? I'll re-roll that one. So we got 1 success. But remember, oh, sorry, we've got a 5 there. We will put that up with the Derringer. So that's 2 successes. Well, 3 really. The natural 6 with the Azure Flame is 2 successes. And that 6 makes it 3. Take these out. This one was cocked. We'll re-roll it. And that's a 5. Have we got anything else that we can divvy it up by 1? We have. We have got the lucky cigarette case as well. So that 5 also goes to a 6. So there we go, we've got 4. I'm not sure whether Azure Flame counts for, you know, if it's not a natural 6. Let's check. Otherwise, we've already done it. Each 6 you roll. So those 5s weren't rolled 6s. That's the way I'm going to play it anyway. But it doesn't matter, because we've got 4 there. In fact, just so we know, that was our natural 1 that Azure Flame turned into 2 successes. We have still got our lucky talisman. Once per round you may re-roll all of your dice when resolving a test. Is that all of them? We won't use that straight away. We'll use the lucky ring first. So that's another die roll. 5. Damn it! We have got the lucky rabbit's foot. So we'll re-roll that as well. Oh, that's another 5. We have also got... Ooh, what else have we got? So we used the lucky ring, the lucky rabbit's foot. We haven't used the lucky talisman yet. We'll start using some of... We'll use our focus, which will allow us to re-roll... Oh no, it won't, because that's just for... We just had that for the will test if we failed it, and we didn't, did we? So we'll start rolling clues before we use... Because reading the lucky talisman, it says re-roll all your dice. And we've already got 4 successes, so I don't want to re-roll them all. So, not too sure about that one. But we have got a focus anyway. We're not using the mysterious tome, but we will roll for the focus. It's a 4. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clues. Let's just roll 4 of these. And then we'll roll another 4. It's getting exciting, isn't it? No! And the last 4. Yes! We were on the last 4 clues. So there you go, that's it. Because that was a natural 6. And there we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have done it. It was a bit closer in the end, but he was cursed. Yes, I did still have the lucky talisman, but it just struck me then while I was reading it. It says you may re-roll all your dice, which suggests to me that you have to re-roll them all, rather than just the ones that fail. It might be just the ones that fail, but just to make sure that I did it correctly, I burned through all the clues and everything. But why not use them when they're there? So it is defeated. We got 6 hits on it. So fantastic. It has gone. Coolness. Well done, Rex. As I say, he is not going to have a Miskatonic outpost encounter. He is just going to sit down in the snow and survey the ruins of the blasted to bits Elder Thing. Coolness. To him, because we've got to carry on to the end of the Mythos phase, it will be Monterey Jack. And here we are with Monty, and he's in a similar situation to good old Rex. He's got to kill something. So, first of all, he's going to start with these cultists. So if we just have a look, remind ourselves, what we've got to do is, ideally, we've got to pass this law check, because if we do, we can persuade them of the error of their ways, and they will join us, and we won't have to fight them. So, but they're quite bog standard. So let's have a look at what his law is. We improved it, so it's up at 4. -1, that is 3. He doesn't get a help from his Ankh or from his Arcane Scroll, because they're for spell effects. So it'll be 3 dice. So, cultist number 1. We pass. So let's get the asset deck. And let's see who is joining us. I'll just do a quick shuffle, a cut, and then we'll draw them all, rather than shuffling between each individual one. So we'll just go from the back. Monster Hunter. Very nice. Perhaps this will help. Gain +2 strength. Well, that won't, because we've got a Tommy gun, and the Tommy gun's +4. And action, a monster of your choice on your space loses 1 health. Well, hopefully we won't be having another action phase. So, but there we go. We've got the Monster Hunter. Let's roll again for the second one. Second cultist, and we get a success. We've got 4 there. So let's pick out our next. Oh, perhaps there's none left. Private Investigator. Ally. Gain +1 observation, very nice. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving an observation test. Okay, that's him. Next roll. And another success. Let's keep going through. Ooh, a Witch Doctor. Let's have a read. Ally. Investigators on your space may recover 1 additional health or discard a curse condition when performing a rest action. Bloody hell. If Rex had had this guy at the beginning of the game, it'd have been amazing. I mean, I think he's got +2 on everything apart from observation now, but at the beginning of the game, that would have been immense for Rex. So he's got the Witch Doctor. Again, not much help for killing monsters. And the next one, last one, and another 2 successes. Oh, right on the top, we've got Chief Inspector. Ally, gain +1 observation. Well, we've already got that from the Private Investigator. Gain +2 observation during research encounters. Well, I don't think we'll be doing any research encounters, but that would have been nice. Okay, so that is every single one of the cultists recruited to our cause. So all these can go back in the bag. Okay. Woohoo! Who are we going to do next? Let's do the Child of the Goat, I think. So let's have a look. Yes, we do not have a horror check. So it's a straight strength test, no modifier. We only need 1 success to beat it, but 2 successes, so we do not lose any health. It's magically resistant, but we're shooting it in the face with a Tommy gun, so that doesn't matter. So we need 8 dice. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right, I think. Yep, 4 for strength and 4 for the Tommy gun. And we've got a couple of one re-roll with the bullwhip. And I think we passed there. So that is goodbye to the Child of the Goat. Woohoo! And I think the right as well doesn't have a horror check. No, it doesn't. Let's do this influence test, see if we can get away. Let's see if we can talk him out of it. Influence is now 3. I think it's -1, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll use 2 of these 6s, I think. Let's take the rest out. Put them over here. Right. Come on. Yay! We talked him out of it. So it's probably a very scared mob of researchers and stuff at Ursula's camp. A lot of strange stuff's been going on with all these cultists and everything knocking around, and they're very scared and frightened. But Monty's turned up and he has calmed them all down. What a star. So they're gone. Which leaves the Night Gaunt, which will probably be a bit trickier than all the others have been. We get a straight will test for the horror. We've got to get 2 successes. But I think we get some help. We do from the Ankh. Because it's a combat check, the Ankh gives us +2 will. We've got 2 will, so that's 4 dice. And we get, 1 success. Whew, just managed it. And the combat is a strength test -2. So that's 8 minus 2 is 6. We need at least 1 success to avoid losing health and 2 successes to kill it. We don't want these 2s and 1s. No, we do not. Let's have 5 other dice as well as this 4. And we get 4 successes. Night, night, Mr. Night Gaunt. Brilliant. Right. Now, Monty does want to do an encounter after killing all those monsters, and he's going to do another world encounter and try and shut this gate. So, we need the other world deck, which is here. Quick shuffle. Quick cut. Right. Ooh, Lost Carcosa, we might have guessed. You have been told never to speak the name of Hasta. Hasta, 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 Hasta. Especially here in Carcosa. Resolve the pass effect to ignore this advice, or resolve the fail effect to say the unspeakable one instead. Well, we're saying his name. Hasta, 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 Hasta. You've got to take Hasta on. Yeah? Don't mess around. Take him on. Look him in the eye. Kick his ass. So, we are saying his name. You speak his name and has to flood your mind. You try to focus on a chant to protect yourself. Law -1. 3 dice. So it's not a spell effect again. So we've got 3 dice. Yeah. 2 successes. Hasta Pussycat. Whoop. If you pass, Hasta leaves you and closes this doorway. See, he even closed the door for us. Close this gate. Boing. Goodbye. Hasta, he's my beach. If you fail, well, there's the fail. And that was the fail condition. There you go. Once again, Hasta falls to my magnificence. Bah! He's a git. Okay, so let's move. Let's move Jacko in there. Get in the Amazon, lad. Right, brilliant. So we've even closed a gate. Marvellous. Okie dokie. That is it for the encounter phase. Next up, oh yes, it's the laugh and chuckle phase. And here we are at the laugh and chuckle phase, where you can see the mess I made when I was fighting the Elder Thing. This was all the stuff that Rex was using in order to take on the Elder Thing. Righto, so that's what we need. The laugh and chuckle deck. Oh, and the last one, look at that tentacly. We have Omen Trap Movement. We go on to a blue constellation. We have a single blue constellation gate. We go down to 5. We have Monster Surge, so that is just on London. We've now got 4 cultists back in the bag. Do you think I can pull a couple of them out? Let's give it a proper mix up. Let's see if we can get a couple of cultists out. Right, first one. Ooh, a Chthonian. I'm glad I got it this now, because I hate these guys. So I think it goes to a special spot. Is it the Heart of Africa? Yes, it does. Well, it's down here. And final monster on London is... Cultist, of course it is. Mind you, we had just chucked 4 back in the bag. So, got a cultist in London, but you'll soon have to start looking for another job, mate. Right, we get a couple of clues. This goes to Space 7, Bogota, where Tony is still learning the rumba, and the pyramids. There we go. Let's go through the last bit of this card, shall we? The old man listens carefully to your story. When you finish, he looks you coldly in the eye. What would you give to stem the tide of darkness? An unearthly chiming comes from the old bottles on the shelves. A dark path. Each investigator advances doom by 1 unless he gains a deal condition. Oh, we do we? No, we don't. We tell him to get stuffed as well. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doom is on 1. But that's the end of the Mythos phase. Discard. Woohoo! Let's have a look at our mystery. At the end of the Mythos phase, if the crazed Elder Thing epic monster has been defeated, solve this mystery. This mystery has been solved. So we have solved 4 mysteries, and that is it, I think. When 4 mysteries have been solved, investigators win the game. I thank you. We've won, everyone! Woo! fabulous. Absolutely fantastic. We've won. There's only one doom left on the board, which makes it sound a lot closer than it actually was. In fact, we could have done it the other way as well. Every single one of these investigators could have took a deal condition and we could still be up on 5 doom. But I don't like people like that. Just tell him, look him in the eye and tell him to get stuffed, because we've won anyway. So, woo! So all these cultists and other assorted monsters, they've all been defeated and we have gotten through. Fantastic. It did get a little bit hairy with Rex, but only because I wasn't too sure about that lucky talisman. It was sort of, it did say re-roll all dice, not just re-roll your failed dice. It probably is just re-roll your failed dice, but why take a chance? And we had all those clues and stuff to burn through, so just let's do it. And he managed, with the help of Azure Flame. So fantastic. Again, I think I was right on, what was it, the ones who used the lucky cigarette case on and the .25 automatic, where I turned a 5 into a 6. I don't think I can use Azure Flame on them, because it does say roll a 6. So, and we didn't roll a 6, we sort of like bumped it up to a 6. But again, that could be, I'm sure George or somebody will be able to tell us whether we'd have got double up on that. But it doesn't matter, because we got there in the end anyway. Fabulous. Okie dokie, that is it. We have done it. It was a really good game. It was quite close till that final mystery. We got very lucky with the final mystery. It could have been even easier. We could have actually sent Monterey Jack. He could have tested influence, even though his influence was only 1. Well, yeah, it was only 1 at the start of the action phase. He could have took a bank loan, got 2 successes, and he could have gone to Miskatonic Outpost. Then we could have had Rex trade all of that stuff to Monty. Yeah, and then Monty would have been rolling with blessed dice, not cursed dice, so we could have won it even easier. But Mark didn't want to do that. He did want to go to the Amazon. Yes, absolutely brilliant. So Wendy has been fantastic all game. I'd really like to thank Lawrence for the way that he played Wendy. He was really on the ball. He spent all that time in Antarctica virtually from the get-go, and he did a brilliant job for us. And so did Wendy, considering she also impaired herself at the beginning. She impaired herself to get blessed, and she impaired a couple of other things. So all the way through, she was like, you know, she wasn't even at her starting values, and she did really, really well. So kudos there to Lawrence. And in fact, I think she was our best investigator, bar none. I think she outshone the rest of us. She was really good. So well done there, Lawrence. I'd also like to thank Chrissy, who came in. Very difficult to come in. You know, I think it was, what was it, turn 10, turn 11, when Akachi came in. And she did a fabulous job as well. And the good thing about that last turn was how well, you know, we had 3 investigators there. We needed them all. We needed Akachi to get the alien device, get to Lake Camp. We needed Wendy to come back from Miskatonic to drop off things like the Lucky Ring and stuff. And then we needed Rex to finish it off. And that was the only way we could do it, with teamwork. So they worked really well together there. Akachi, again, brilliant. Thank you, Chrissy. Thanks for joining in. I know it's not easy to join a game halfway through, and you did excellently. Thanks very much. Talking of Akachi, we've got to talk about, obviously, the investigator that she replaced, which was Jenny Barnes. I did talk about her when we sadly lost her, when she went insane. But again, Doug did brilliantly, understood Jenny inside out. Just, we had so much stuff at the end. We had weapons coming out of our ears, and all that was down to Jenny, because she really got some good stuff. And she also helped out. She got down to Antarctica, and a lot of the stuff at the end of the game there that we were actually trading between investigators, well, that was like items and equipment that Jenny had got. So we wouldn't have won without Jenny and without Doug's help either. So thanks to Doug. While I remember, because I've just mentioned Chrissy and Doug, any of you who haven't actually gone across to their YouTube channels, so Flying Solo and Doug Herring, go and check them out. They are excellent sites. They're great people. Go and give them your patronage. In fact, if I remember correctly, Doug has even got a competition going at the moment, so you could actually win some stuff if you go over to Doug's channel. So anybody who hasn't checked his channel out, it'll be down the side here in the tube tables list that's down the side. Do go and check out their channels. Go and check out all the channels on tube tables. They're a good bunch of people. And come and visit us at the guild. Bloody hell. Feel like a salesman, but honestly, do go and check out those tube channels. Do go and check out the rest of the channels as part of the Tube Tables Guild. They're great people. Check them out. And then there's Rex. Rex was amazing. I think he was played brilliantly. You know what I mean? The man was a star. He was selfless. He was handsome. The person that was running him was obviously a genius. And at the end of the day, he killed the crazed elder thing. So, fantastic sort of. But I know that the guy that runs him is a shy, retiring type, so I won't heap too much praise on him because he will get very embarrassed. But Rex, brilliant job, brilliant support role, and he had to step up from the support role at the very end in order to finalise that final mystery. So, well done to Rex. I like Rex. And next is, but if you're going to play Rex, if you are going to play Rex, play him from the start of the game. If he comes in at the end of the game, you've got real problems because he needs stuff to help him. And that curse at the beginning, first few turns, you've really got to work hard to keep him alive. But once he gets rid of his curse a few times and he gets those 2 benefits before he gets his curse back, once he's done that a couple of times, he begins to turn into a real powerhouse. So if you're ever going to play Rex, I'd suggest getting him from either the start of the game or early on in the game. If you get him with a couple of turns to go, he'll be a nightmare. Right, after Rex, seeing as we're going through player order, it's Monterey. Monterey and Mark, fantastic. At the beginning of the game, both him and Wendy were like, they were carrying me and Doug because obviously Rex isn't much use till he tools himself up a bit anyway. Jenny had some bad rolls which were down to me, and it was Wendy and Lawrence and Mark and Monterey that were like carrying us to a certain extent in about the first 4 or 5 turns. Mark, like everybody else, Mark really got into it. He was always there with some flavour text, and that was brilliant. And good old Monterey role-played him to the max. He was always out there looking for stuff. If he had a chance of going anywhere and getting anything, he'd go and do that. He was a proper archaeologist in the Indiana Jones tradition. Oh, Mark did ask me about a couple of things that I'll do for him while we're here. Where is it? First of all, he did want to bless himself again. So let's see what he would have got if he had blessed himself again. He'd have got the light of Cathanid. In your moment of need, the light of Cathanid shines down upon you, filling your heart with courage and hope. Retreat doomed by 1. There you go. That's what would have happened. And the other thing he wanted to know, I think he was a bit disappointed that Rex didn't give him the treasure map and the courier run. But I don't think he'd have been able to get to the places anyway. So the treasure map, you come upon a small shrine and double check your map. Surely this is the location the map indicates. Inside the shrine you find a strange object wrapped in a silky cloth. Gain an artifact. And the courier run, you arrive at the mansion in the late afternoon and the butler sees you inside. Before long you meet the lady of the prestigious Fairmont family. The butler takes the parcel from you and presents it to Mrs. Fairmont for approval. She thanks you for your time and rewards you handsomely for the effort. Gain a funding condition and 1 asset of your choice from the reserve. Then discard this card. So that's what they were, mate. Now you know. Fantastic. Yep, so well played everybody once again. Mark, Doug, Chrissy, Lawrence, fantastic, thank you. Made it a success. It was, I really enjoyed playing it. It made some of the things a lot easier. it made other things a lot harder. So I'm going to take a bit of a rest. Nothing major, it won't be weeks or anything, but I'm going to take a few days off because while some of the stuff gets easier, some of the other stuff gets a bit harder running one of these things, especially, you know, keeping everything up to date on the thread on BGG and that sort of stuff. It was a little harder work than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be a lot easier, sort of like not having to think about what all the investigators were doing, but that didn't quite work out. But don't get me wrong, thoroughly enjoyed it. I was just, I know now how much work it is doing one of these things. We will do another one. I think we will stay with Eldritch Horror. As I mentioned, what we'll do is the 4 reserves this time will get a go at starting next time should they wish to. What I'm thinking of doing is waiting till the new year, possibly waiting till the Dreamlands expansion comes out and doing it with that. And that will mean, I think it would be George, Chrissy, because as I said, even if you get into this game as a reserve, you do get a chance at a full game. And the other person was Anthony. I think we've got Stasia, who is lined up, as long as it's after February. She's interested. And anybody else, if you go to the sign up thread on BGG, on Tube Tables, put your name in and you will go into the listing. Anybody else from this particular game, Mark, Lawrence or Doug, who wants to come on again, by all means, put your names forward again and you will be in the list. But as I say, I think we'll do it. We might, depending on when the Dreamlands comes out. If the Dreamlands isn't coming out for a while, perhaps in February, we might do another game like this. As long as you're all still interested, obviously. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the subscriptions. Thank you so much for all the help and support and for pointing out my errors, which were legion. Again, if I've made any in this particular episode, hopefully nothing major, because we've won and I've done things like let the Doom go down to 1. So hopefully there's been no cock-ups there. But any sort of like error that I've made, and by all means, like you know, things like that lucky talisman that I wasn't sure about, again, I erred on the side of caution there. We did end up getting our 6 successes that we needed. Okay, so that is it for me. As I mentioned, be a few days, going to take a few days off. I've got to clear all this away. I'm not sure what I'm going to play next. I'll have to have a think about it. Thank you very much again to everybody who took part. You were fantastic. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody who's gone across to Board Game Links as well to upvote the site. But that is it for Eldritch Horror and Rise of the Elder Things. We have won, thank God. So the Elder Things have been put back in their box. So until next time, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.